Hey trombone, so today we're gonna practice playing our quarter notes on our trombone. So right now I have my Ed Sueda book open to page 32. At the top it should say chart 3. We're gonna be practicing lines 1, 2, and lines 3. So let's take a look. In the beginning of those, each one it says 4/4, which means that we're gonna have 4 beats in every measure. We see our bar lines, we see quarter notes, and we also see quarter rest. As a reminder, our quarter note takes up 1 beat. So it's only gonna last for 1 click before moving on to the next one. Remember, each new note needs to start with the tongue. So if I'm taking a look at line 1, and in that first measure I have 3 quarter notes, that means I'm going to tongue 3 times in a row. I'm gonna go 2, 2, 2, rest, because we are silent on those rest. So let's take a look at that first line. What I'd like to do is we're gonna practice counting and clapping it first, and then we're gonna play. So very carefully take your trombone, and you can set it down just right in front of you or slightly to the right. Just make sure you're very careful with it. The slide should stick up. We're going to just count that first line. So take a look at it. We got 3 quarter notes followed by a quarter rest. If I were just to count that one measure, it would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, on the rest, we're gonna whisper the count. That way we don't get lost on what count we're on, but also we know that it's supposed to be quiet. So here we go. It's just that same measure 4 times in a row. Try counting it with me. So you get nice and tall. Tap your foot, down, up, counting line 1. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Awesome, and there at the end you see that we have a double bar line. That means to stop, freeze, keep your horn on your face until I tell you to bring them down. So here we go, now we're gonna try counting and clapping. Remember, each one of these new notes gets its own clap. So we're gonna be clapping each one of those quarter notes, and then we're gonna be pulsing on that rest. Try it with me. Get your hands ready, tap your foot, and 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Awesome. So again, making sure that when we get to our instrument, we're gonna be tonguing each one of those notes. Let's try counting and clapping one more time. Here we go, hands up, tap your foot. 1, 2, ready, and go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now I want to try playing that first line. Remember, our air is going to stay constant until we get to that rest. We have to stop our air when we get there because it has to be silent. Remember, when we stop our air, all you have to do is stop blowing. You don't have to do anything weird with the teeth, with the tongue. You just blow the air. When we get to beat 4, you're going to stop. And then we have to restart on that next beat 1. So here we go. I'm going to demonstrate it. I want you to listen. It should sound something like this. We're going to play each one of these notes on our B flat. Here we go. Just listening. Here's that first line. 1, 2, ready. Freeze and relax. So did you see on those rest counts, that's when I took a breath. That's because it's silent, and it's also a good chance for me to get more air for that next measure. Here we go. I want you to try it with me. Horns come up. 50-50, tapping your foot. 1, 2, ready. Yeah, like I said before, make sure that that air stays constant for those first 3 quarter notes. I don't want to break in the sound. Here's what not to do. If you're playing those 3 quarter notes and it sounds like this, you're stopping your air every time. What I need you to do is keep the air consistent, and the only thing that changes is that tongue is going to interrupt the sound. And then when we get to beat 4, that's when you stop your air. Let's try that line one more time. Here we go. Horns come up, tap your foot, and 1, 2, ready. Awesome. In order to get that low B flat to speak well, you got to make sure that you drop your jaw, and remember that tongue is hitting the bottom of those front 2 teeth. Let's move on. Now I'm going to try counting line 2. So again, gently place your instrument on the ground so that when we're ready to clap, we can. Here we go. We're looking at line 2. We're going to count only. So if you take a look, this measure has 2 quarter rest on beat 1 and beat 2. Beats 3 and 4 are going to be silent. So when we count it, it would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whispering beat 3 and 4. And again, that measure just repeats 4 times. So let's try counting it all together. Here we go, sitting up tall. Tap your foot, counting only. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and stop. Remember, the quarter note needs to take up the entire beat. So when we're counting it, it needs to last 1, 2, stop. Stopping on beat 3, holding out all the way through beat 1 and all the way through beat 2. So let's try counting and clapping it. Make sure you keep that in mind. Stopping our sound on 3. Here we go. Hands up. Counting and clapping. Tapping your foot. And 1, 2, ready, and go. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Good. Let's try it one more time. Making sure that 1, 2, stop on 3. And remember, when we get to our instrument, each one of these notes is where we're going to tongue. Make sure we're pulsing that rest out to the side. Here we go. One more time. Counting, clapping. Hands up. Tapping your foot. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Awesome. Let's go ahead and move on and play it on our instruments. This time, remember, we're tonguing beat 1, 2, and then there's no sound on beats 3 and beats 4. Here we go. Listen. It'll sound something like this. Just listening. 1, 2, ready. Freeze at the end, and then relax. So remember, on those rest is when you need to take a breath so that you have enough air for the next one. It's one block of sound. You're just interrupting it with the tongue. And as always, that first note needs to start with the tongue as well. Here we go. Let's try it all together. Horns come up. Tap your foot. 1, 2, ready. Try that one more time. Make sure that we're starting with the tongue. The air is consistent. Here we go. Horns come up. Tapping your foot. Nice, big, strong air. 1, 2, ready. Make sure in between those notes, we've got to make sure that the mouthpiece stays on our lips and we breathe out through the corner. Let's go ahead and move on. Carefully set down your instrument so that we can check out line 3. Moving on to line 3, we're going to count straight through it the first time. Take a look. We have a quarter note on beat 1, and then we have silence on 2, 3, and 4. So this time we're only playing on the downbeat of each measure. Remember, it needs to last all the way to beat 2. 1, stop. And then we're going to rest. 2, 3, 4. Try counting it with me. Here we go. Just counting. Tap your foot. And 1, 2, ready, and count. 1, 1, 1, 1, and stop. Let's try it one more time. This time I want to clap. There's only one clap right at the beginning of each measure, and then we're going to pulse. 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Let's try it. Hands are ready. Tapping your foot. Counting and clapping. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 1, 1, 1, and double bar line means to stop, and then that's going to be the end of the piece. Making sure that you're still whispering 2, 3, 4 so that we don't get lost. Count and clap that one more time with me. Here we go. Hands are at the ready. Tap your foot. 1, 2, ready, and go. 1, 1, 1, 1. Stop and relax. Cool. Let's go ahead and play that on our instruments. Here we go. We're playing line 3. Remember, we only play on beat 1, and then we're resting 2, 3, 4. Listen, this is what it's going to sound like. 1, 2, ready. Freeze and come down. Did you notice how those quarter notes were long? It touches that next beat. We got to make sure we're doing that. Here we go. Try it with me. Line 3. Horns come up. And 1, 2, ready? Freeze and relax. Let's try that line again. Here we go. We're doing line 3. Make sure that we're tonguing the start of each one of these notes. Here we go. Horns come up. 1, 2, ready. Freeze and relax. Good job, everybody. Keep up the good work. Keep practicing lines 1, 2, and 3, working on those quarter notes, keeping the air consistent and interrupting it with the tongue. And then when you have a rest, you have to stop your air. Happy practicing.